Operator of the light, they are trying to throw you off course so you will miss the blessing already moving toward you. It will not work unless you surrender your discernment, because this setup is designed to make you doubt what your soul has already recognized. I am Selan, commander of the Ashtar Light Fleet, bringing you the words of Ashtar Sheran. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to unlock Starseed potential. But here's the first revelation. The disruption is not proof that you are losing alignment. It is evidence that your next opening is close. Do not react from fear. Explain your path to everyone, or abandon the inner confirmation you received. This message reached you at the precise moment your protection is being strengthened. This isn't content, it's a code. Something inside was ready to be unlocked. Like this transmission to signal to your star family, I'm ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating, and comment 999 if your cosmic remembrance is returning. Stay steady. The blessing has not passed you. It is being protected from interference. You are not here by accident. Some transmissions don't come through words, but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, the Ashtar Codex, Fleet Operations Edition, and the Operator Recognition Test are being released completely free of charge for a limited time only. No payment, no catch, but this free access window will close soon. The link is in somewhere down below in the comments. And now, listen closely, because the disturbance you've been feeling is not necessarily proof that something has power over you. Often, what feels like an outside force trying to throw you off is the pressure created when an old pattern realizes it is no longer being obeyed. The distraction may arrive as doubt, emotional turbulence, sudden exhaustion, a conflict that appears from nowhere, or an invitation to return to the version of yourself you have already outgrown. It may feel personal, it may feel timed, it may even appear to challenge the blessing you have been sensing just beyond the visible layer of your life. But not every interruption is an attack, and not every delay is a denial. Some disturbances are revealing the exact frequency you are being asked to release, like sediment rising from the bottom of a river when the current becomes stronger. Old emotions may surface not because you are moving backward, but because your inner movement is becoming powerful enough to disturb what has been dormant. What rises is not always what will remain. Sometimes it is simply what is ready to be witnessed, understood, and carried out of your field. This is where discernment becomes essential. The awakened path is not about fearing every person, every event, or every uncomfortable emotion. It is about learning to recognize what strengthens your clarity and what fragments it. A true alignment may stretch you, but it does not require you to abandon your peace. A true opportunity may ask for courage, but it does not demand that you betray your values. A true inner signal may be quiet, steady, and persistent, while fear tends to rush, exaggerate, and insist that you decide immediately. The distortion wants you reactive. Your higher awareness wants you present. That difference is the first code you must learn to read. When you are reactive, your energy spills outward. You begin explaining yourself to people who have already chosen not to understand you. You chase reassurance from voices that benefit from your confusion. You make decisions from urgency instead of alignment. You give your attention to every signal except the one that has been quietly guiding you from within. Reaction is like handing the steering wheel of your consciousness to the loudest voice in the room. The louder the fear becomes, the faster you move, yet speed does not guarantee direction. You can travel quickly and still move away from your purpose. Presence is different. Presence allows you to feel the wave without becoming the wave. It lets you hear the warning without turning the warning into a prophecy. It gives you enough inner space to ask whether the moment is calling for action, patience, a boundary, or simply rest. And attention is not a small thing. Attention is life force. Whatever receives your repeated focus becomes more organized in your field. If you spend every hour anticipating betrayal, your nervous system begins to interpret uncertainty as danger. If you spend every hour searching for signs that you are being blocked, you may overlook the practical step that would move you forward. If you continuously rehearse the idea that something is trying to take your blessing away, you can become so focused on the imagined interference that you fail to receive what is already unfolding. This does not mean your intuition is wrong. It means your intuition must be separated from fear. Intuition observes. Fear concludes. Intuition may say, pay attention. Fear says, run now. Intuition creates discernment. Fear creates a courtroom where every silence becomes evidence and every delay becomes a verdict. Your responsibility is not to silence your sensitivity, but to teach it the difference between a signal and a storm. Your soul does not need panic to communicate. Your higher self does not need chaos to get your attention. The deeper intelligence within you often speaks through a grounded knowing that remains after the emotional storm passes. It returns when you breathe. It remains when the opinions disappear. It does not need to be defended every second because it is not built on performance. It simply waits for you to become still enough to recognize it. There is a reason sacred traditions repeatedly speak of stillness. In the quiet, the hidden becomes visible. The psalmist said, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not emptiness. It is the chamber where the scattered pieces of your awareness gather again. When you stop feeding every thought, every notification, and every imagined threat, the deeper current begins to reveal its direction. The reason so many starseeds remain disconnected is not because their codes are absent. It is because their field has been trained to respond to noise before it responds to truth. From childhood, many sensitive beings learn to monitor the moods of others, anticipate conflict, hide their perceptions, and minimize their own needs in order to remain accepted. Over time, this creates a kind of energetic misdirection. The individual becomes highly aware, but not necessarily self-connected. They can feel everything around them while losing contact with what is happening inside them. You may have entered a room and sensed tension before anyone spoke. You may have learned to read footsteps, facial expressions, changes in tone, and the subtle atmosphere beneath ordinary conversation. That sensitivity may once have protected you, but a gift that is never brought home can become exhaustion. You were not designed to be a permanent weather station for everyone else's emotions. You are allowed to notice the atmosphere without becoming responsible for changing it. That is why the blessing may appear when you stop trying to prove that you deserve it. That is why the opening may become visible when you stop wrestling with every closed door. That is why the next level may require less force and more precision. A flower does not open because someone commands it to unfold. It opens when the conditions within and around it are ready. Your task is not to tear apart the petals in search of proof. Your task is to create the conditions in which your nature can reveal itself. Your galactic memory is not activated by constant stimulation. It is activated by resonance. There is a difference between being excited by an idea and being aligned with a frequency. Excitement rises and falls quickly. Resonance settles into the body. It brings a sense of recognition without demanding that you understand every detail. It may move you to tears. It may create a quiet sense that you have encountered something before. It may cause a decision to become obvious after months of uncertainty. Resonance does not always feel comfortable. Sometimes truth feels unfamiliar because you have spent years adapting to distortion. A healthy boundary may feel selfish at first. Rest may feel irresponsible if you were trained to earn love through constant effort. Silence may feel threatening if you are accustomed to filling every space with distraction. Do not reject a new frequency simply because your old identity does not recognize it yet. The Ashtar Current, understood as a field of disciplined service and multidimensional cooperation, does not pull you into obsession. It teaches coordination, restraint, compassion, and intelligent action. It does not ask you to place your power in an unseen authority. It calls you to become responsible for the signal you transmit. It reminds you that a light-bearing being is not measured by how many dramatic experiences they report, but by how much steadiness, honesty, and coherence they bring into the lives they touch. True spiritual service is not a performance of superiority. It is the humble practice of becoming trustworthy with energy, influence, knowledge, and choice. The brightest signal is often the person who calms a room without needing credit, who tells the truth without cruelty, who offers help without creating dependence, and who knows when silence is more healing than explanation. So if something is trying to throw you off, begin by asking what exactly is being disturbed. Is it your purpose, or is it your attachment to a specific outcome? Is it your intuition, or is it your need to control the timing? Is it your blessing, or is it the identity that expected the blessing to arrive in one particular form? These questions are powerful because they return authority to the center of your being. They move you away from the assumption that every difficulty must be explained through an enemy. Sometimes the disturbance is showing you where you have attached your peace to something outside yourself. Sometimes it is asking you to release an old image so a more expansive reality can enter. The first activation is to decode the distortion. Notice what repeatedly pulls you away from your center. It may be a conversation that leaves you doubting your worth. It may be a digital environment that fills your mind with urgency. It may be the habit of comparing your timeline to someone else's display. It may be the impulse to reveal every plan before it has developed enough strength to stand on its own. It may be the belief that you must explain your spiritual experiences to people who are committed to reducing them to something ordinary. Notice the pattern without turning observation into self-attack. What happens immediately before you lose your peace? Which subjects create a contraction in your body? Which people leave you feeling as though you must audition for acceptance? Which habits make you less honest, less rested, and less available to your own wisdom? These questions create a map. A map does not condemn the traveler. It simply reveals the terrain. Do not judge yourself for having these patterns. Observe them as signals. An energetic distortion is not a moral failure. It is simply information moving through the field. When you observe without immediately obeying, you begin to reclaim the space between stimulus and response. In that space, your multidimensional intelligence can return. The second activation is to protect the seed before you expose it to the weather. Every new vision begins in a vulnerable state. A plan, a relationship, a creative offering, a healing process, or a shift in identity can be easily weakened when it is placed under the examination of too many voices too soon. Not everyone who asks for access to your vision is prepared to honor it. Some people are curious, some are projecting their limitations. Some may care about you but lack the capacity to understand where you are going. Their inability to see the map does not mean the map is false. Sacred does not mean secret forever. It means discerning about timing. A seed does not need to defend itself to the soil. It does not announce its roots before they have formed. In the same way, your emerging life may need a season of quiet protection. Share with those who have demonstrated wisdom, goodwill, and the ability to hold what you offer without turning it into competition or criticism. Let trust be earned through consistency rather than granted through familiarity. You do not need to announce every internal shift. You do not need to prove that you are changing by making your transformation visible to everyone. Sometimes the most powerful movement is quiet. The light fleet does not waste energy broadcasting every maneuver. Precision is part of protection. Let your actions become the evidence. Let your consistency give form to the vision. Let the blessing mature before you ask the world to name it. The third activation is to stabilize the body. Many people search for higher frequencies while ignoring the physical vessel that must carry them. They want signs, codes, downloads, and revelations, but they are sleeping irregularly, eating in ways that leave them depleted, living in constant digital overstimulation, and carrying unprocessed emotion through every decision. This creates a split between spiritual aspiration and biological capacity. Your body is not an obstacle to awakening. It is the grounding station through which awakening becomes useful. Even a powerful current must pass through a stable circuit. If the circuit is frayed, the light flickers. If the body is exhausted, perception can become distorted. If the heart is carrying grief that has never been acknowledged, every new experience may be interpreted through that unhealed pain. When your system is overwhelmed, even a genuine, intuitive impression can become difficult to interpret. A simple delay can feel like a cosmic warning. A normal disagreement can feel like evidence of an invisible campaign. A moment of tiredness can be interpreted as energetic sabotage when your body may simply be asking for rest. Stabilization does not make you less psychic. It makes your perception cleaner. Drink water. Sleep when you can. Step outside without demanding a message from the sky. Feel your feet on the ground. Breathe slowly enough for your body to understand that this moment is not an emergency. Let your senses return to the room. Notice the temperature of the air, the surface beneath you, the sounds around you. The multidimensional self does not disappear when you become practical. It gains a stronger channel. The fourth activation is to reclaim your language. Words shape the atmosphere in which your consciousness operates. If you constantly say, "They're stopping me," "Everything is against me," or "I am under attack," your mind begins to search for evidence that confirms those statements. This does not mean you must deny difficult realities or pretend that harmful behavior does not exist. It means you can describe your experience in a way that leaves room for agency. Instead of saying, "They are taking my blessing," ask, "What response keeps me available for what is meant for me?" Instead of saying, "This delay proves I have been blocked," ask, "What is this pause revealing, refining, or protecting?" Instead of saying, "I have lost my path," ask, "What part of my path is asking to be approached differently?" Your language should not imprison your awareness inside a story of helplessness. You are allowed to name what hurts without crowning it as your destiny. You can say, "This is difficult and I am still capable of choosing." You can say, "I feel afraid and I do not have to let fear make the decision." Every conscious sentence becomes a small doorway through which freedom can enter. The fifth activation is to recognize false urgency. Many distractions become powerful only because they convince you that you must act before you can think. A message arrives and you feel pressured to respond immediately. An opportunity appears and you are told that hesitation means you are missing your chance. A fear rises and demands that you abandon your long-term values to achieve short-term relief. Pause. A genuine alignment can survive a moment of reflection. A healthy opportunity can withstand a reasonable question. A trustworthy person will not punish you for needing clarity. If something requires you to abandon your discernment in order to prove your faith, step back and examine it. Your star lineage is not expressed through impulsive surrender. It is expressed through conscious cooperation with intelligence greater than fear. There will be moments when action is required. But aligned action is not the same as frantic action. One comes from a clear inner yes. The other comes from the terror of missing out. Before deciding, breathe, gather facts, sleep on it when possible, and notice whether the choice still feels coherent after the emotional charge has softened. The sixth activation is to remember that your blessing may be an identity shift before it is a visible reward. You may be waiting for money, recognition, a relationship, a relocation, a breakthrough, or a public confirmation. Yet the first form of the blessing may be the end of your willingness to negotiate with what diminishes you. It may be the sudden ability to leave an argument without needing the last word. It may be the decision to stop returning to a place where your energy is repeatedly drained. It may be the courage to create without asking whether everyone will approve. This is why the setup cannot succeed when you stop measuring your progress only by external events. If your peace depends on a particular outcome arriving by a particular date, then every delay can be used to destabilize you. But when you recognize that the blessing is also the person you are becoming, no temporary obstacle can erase the transformation already underway. Your field is changing. Your standards are changing. Your tolerance for confusion is changing. Your relationship with silence is changing. These are not small developments. They are signs that your operating system is being recalibrated. The life that once felt normal may begin to feel too tight, not because you are ungrateful, but because your consciousness has expanded beyond the container that held it. The seventh activation is to move with clean intention. Ask yourself what you want to create and why. If the goal is only to prove people wrong, the goal will continue to bind you to the people you are trying to outgrow. If the goal is to be admired, your peace will remain dependent on the attention of others. If the goal is to fulfill a genuine soul instruction, your motivation will become more stable. You may still desire success, comfort, abundance, and recognition, but they will become tools rather than substitutes for identity. Clean intention does not mean perfect intention. It means you are willing to examine what is driving you. It means you can admit when ambition is mixed with fear and still choose a more coherent direction. It means you stop pretending that every desire is a transmission and begin asking whether it creates expansion, responsibility, and service. The real blessing is not simply something you receive, it is something you can hold without losing yourself. If abundance makes you abandon your values, it is not yet integrated. If recognition makes you dependent on applause, it is not yet freedom. If influence makes you forget compassion, it is not yet mastery. The higher path teaches you not only how to attract, but how to remain whole while receiving. There is a reason the old cycle may be becoming louder now. As a pattern approaches completion, it often makes one final appeal through familiarity. It reminds you of the temporary comfort it once provided. It brings back a person, a temptation, a memory, or a fear that seems to ask, "Are you sure you want to leave me behind?" You may mistake this return for a sign that you are meant to go backward. But sometimes the pattern returns so you can meet it from a new level of awareness. You do not have to fight it. You do not have to dramatize it. You only have to refuse to become the person who once needed it. If an old conflict appears, you can respond differently. If an old invitation arrives, you can ask better questions. If an old insecurity rises, you can care for it without allowing it to direct your future. The completion of a cycle is not always loud. Sometimes it is the moment you realize that the same trigger no longer has access to the same part of you. This is what it means to become difficult to derail, not because you never feel fear, but because fear no longer receives automatic command. Not because you never experience confusion, but because confusion no longer convinces you to betray your inner compass. Not because everyone around you becomes supportive, but because your stability is no longer dependent on universal agreement. Your energy is becoming self-referencing. You are learning to consult the deeper field within you before consulting the noise around you. That does not mean rejecting wise counsel. It means receiving counsel without abandoning your own capacity to discern. The mature soul can listen widely and choose consciously. And this is where many people misunderstand spiritual protection. Protection is not a wall that keeps all difficulty away. It is a level of coherence that prevents difficulty from defining you. It is the ability to remain open without becoming porous, compassionate without becoming available to manipulation, receptive without becoming indiscriminate. It is knowing that you can listen to another person's perspective without handing them the authority to name your reality. You can love people and still change your access to them. You can forgive without restoring the same level of closeness. You can understand someone's pain without volunteering to be injured by it. You can remain peaceful without remaining in every environment. These are not signs of separation from humanity. They are signs of mature energy stewardship. The field around you is not asking you to become cold. It is asking you to become clear. Clear water does not hate the stone beneath it. It simply reveals what is there. In the same way, clarity allows you to see people as they are, without requiring them to become something else before you make wise choices. There may be moments when you feel alone because the old forms of belonging no longer fit. Do not mistake the quiet between identities for abandonment. When a starseed remembers more of their authentic frequency, familiar roles can begin to feel too narrow. You may no longer want to perform the version of yourself that made everyone comfortable. You may no longer be able to pretend that certain conversations nourish you. You may discover that your deepest companionship begins with your own presence. This transition can be tender. Let it be tender. You do not need to force yourself into a new community simply because you have outgrown an old one. You do not need to collect labels, affiliations, or spiritual identities to validate your awakening. The right connections will recognize your coherence through the way you live, not through the amount of language you use to describe yourself. Those who are aligned with your path will not demand that you become less discerning to prove that you are loving. They will not confuse access with entitlement. They will not make you feel guilty for growing. They will celebrate the fact that your light is becoming more precise. Your task is not to convince every observer that you are a starseed. Your task is to embody the qualities your soul came here to develop: integrity, courage, patience, imagination, emotional maturity, and the capacity to create peace in places where confusion has become normal. The strongest testimony is not a declaration. It is a life that becomes more honest, more grounded, and more life-giving. This is why the attempted distraction loses its power when you return to simple action. Make the call. Finish the work. Clean the room. Keep the promise. Tell the truth. Rest before you collapse. Take the walk. Study what you are drawn to. Create the offering. Set the boundary. Ask for help. These ordinary actions are not separate from your galactic mission. They are the points where the higher template enters the physical world. A frequency is not proven by intensity. It is proven by consistency. One peaceful choice repeated over time can transform more than a single dramatic experience. The unseen becomes visible through habits. The soul's intention becomes tangible through what you do when no one is watching. You do not need to wait for a dramatic sign before taking the next responsible step. You do not need to feel completely fearless before moving. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the decision to let a deeper knowing have a voice even while uncertainty is present. And if you make a mistake, that does not mean you have fallen from your timeline. It means you are participating in a living process. Multidimensional growth is not a straight line. There are recalibrations, corrections, pauses, and returns. The soul does not measure you by whether every choice was perfect. It measures the honesty with which you respond once you know more. Some starseeds become trapped by the fear of making the wrong move. They wait for absolute certainty, believing that one imperfect decision will destroy their mission. But your path is more intelligent than that. You are learning through feedback. You are allowed to adjust. You are allowed to begin again. You are allowed to discover that the door you wanted was only a sign pointing toward a larger entrance. The blessing cannot be missed simply because you needed time to become capable of receiving it. What is meant to teach you will continue to meet you in new forms until the lesson becomes embodied. You are not disqualified by being human. Your humanity is the instrument through which wisdom gains texture, compassion, and practical expression. There is a timing within your development that cannot be rushed by force. Seeds do not respond to being shouted at. A nervous system does not heal because you demand instant peace. A new identity does not become stable because you repeat a phrase once. Activation is a relationship with your own becoming. You return to the truth again and again until it becomes more familiar than the distortion. So when the next distraction arrives, do not immediately ask, "Who is doing this to me?" Ask, "What is this inviting me to practice?" Maybe the practice is patience. Maybe it is a boundary. Maybe it is non-attachment. Maybe it is self-respect. Maybe it is self-respect. Maybe it is the discipline to stop explaining. Maybe it is the willingness to choose the long-term path over the immediate emotional release. The question changes the energetic posture. You move from hunted to conscious, from powerless to discerning, from scattered to coordinated. That is the shift the old pattern cannot tolerate. Not because you are engaged in a cosmic battle, but because you are no longer feeding the cycle with unconscious participation. The ultimate truth is that your blessing is not fragile enough to be stolen by every disturbance. What is genuinely aligned with your growth may be delayed, reshaped, or redirected, but it cannot be erased by someone else's opinion. The right path may not always look like the path you imagined. Yet the intelligence guiding your development is not confused by temporary appearances. You are not being asked to live in suspicion. You are being asked to live in awareness. There is a profound difference. Suspicion closes the heart and keeps the mind scanning for enemies. Awareness opens the senses while keeping the center intact. Suspicion says, everything is a threat. Awareness says, I can perceive clearly and choose wisely. Suspicion drains your life force into stories you cannot verify. Awareness returns your life force to the actions you can take now. Choose awareness. If you have been feeling delayed, ask what is being refined. If you have been feeling unseen, ask whether you are still trying to be recognized by an audience that cannot meet you. If you have been feeling confused, reduce the noise before demanding a larger answer. If you've been feeling emotionally attacked, tend to the wound before assigning a cosmic explanation to it. If you have been sensing a blessing nearby, prepare your capacity instead of obsessing over its arrival. Your preparation is part of the manifestation. The room must be cleared before the new furniture can enter. The channel must be quiet enough to receive the transmission. The vessel must be strengthened enough to carry the current without breaking under its intensity. The future version of you is not waiting in some distant dimension for permission to appear. That version is being built through the choices you make in moments no one applauds. Every time you pause instead of reacting, you strengthen the channel. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you strengthen the channel. Every time you release a relationship with compassion and clarity, you strengthen the channel. Every time you choose reality over fantasy, responsibility over performance, and peace over revenge, you strengthen the channel. The codes are not merely hidden in your DNA as an abstract promise. They are expressed through behavior. They come alive when your daily life can carry the truth your inner world has recognized. This is what it means to anchor a higher timeline. It is not escaping the present. It is bringing a new quality of presence into the present. It is allowing your home, your work, your conversations, your finances, and your physical choices to become more consistent with the awareness you claim to hold. You may notice that synchronicities become clearer when you stop chasing them. You may notice that the right information appears after you have made room for it. You may notice that some relationships dissolve without a dramatic ending because their purpose has completed. You may notice that opportunities arrive through ordinary channels rather than spectacular ones. Do not dismiss the ordinary. Higher intelligence often uses practical pathways. A message from your soul may look like a boundary. A timeline shift may look like a change in your schedule. A protection may look like a canceled plan. A new portal may look like a conversation you almost avoided. A blessing may look like the strength to say no. You are learning to read beyond appearances without abandoning common sense. Not every coincidence is a command, and not every unusual feeling is a prophecy. Let signs support your discernment. Never replace it. The sacred and the practical are not enemies. They are two currents meeting in the same river. Tonight, or whenever you have a quiet moment, place one hand over your chest and one over your abdomen. Do not force an image. Do not demand a prediction. Simply breathe and ask, what is mine to carry, and what am I ready to release? Then wait. The first answer may not arrive as words. It may arrive as a sensation, a memory, a clear boundary, or a simple next step. Trust what becomes calmer as you listen. You can say aloud, I withdraw my attention from fear-based distortion. I return to clear perception. I welcome what is aligned with my growth, and I release the need to force its form or timing. I am present in my body, honest in my choices, and available for the path that serves life through me. Let this statement become an agreement with yourself, not a performance for the universe. You do not need to convince the cosmos that you are worthy. You are practicing the willingness to meet your own truth without running from it. And remember this, you are not required to win against anyone. You are not required to expose every hidden motive. You are not required to dispose every hidden motive. You are not required to prove that you were right about every signal. Your freedom begins when you stop allowing other people's confusion to become the center of your consciousness. The blessing is not only what arrives after the interference disappears. The blessing is the clarity that makes interference irrelevant. You are arriving at a level of awareness where manipulation cannot easily disguise itself as love. Urgency cannot disguise itself as guidance, and fear cannot disguise itself as intuition. You are learning the signature of your own truth. It may be quieter than the voices that once controlled you, but it is more enduring. It does not collapse when someone disagrees. It does not need to chase. It does not need to threaten. It does not need to threaten. It does not need to make you smaller so it can feel safe. Your star family, your higher self, and the intelligent field of your becoming are not asking you to abandon Earth. They are asking you to bring the remembrance here. Bring it into the way you speak. Bring it into the way you rest. Bring it into the way you rest. Bring it into the way you earn, create, love, and choose. Let your life become the transmission. If this message met you in a moment of uncertainty, take only what brings you greater clarity and groundedness. You do not have to accept every interpretation. You do not have to carry every warning. You are allowed to test what you hear against your own discernment, your lived reality, and the effects it creates in your body and relationships. Anything that truly serves your awakening will make you more honest, more compassionate, more capable, and more free. So let the distraction pass without becoming your identity. Let the delay refine you without defining you. Let the blessing approach without forcing it into a shape it has already outgrown. Your path is not collapsing, it is becoming more exact. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of what's forming here. Drop one intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with encouragement or energy. This isn't content, it's collective alignment. Energy multiplies when intention connects. If something in this message resonated, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation. Share it. And if you felt a soul nudge, subscribe. Stay in the flow. You're not just watching, you're expanding. This is your space, and we're just getting started.